Welcome to the mid-year freakout tag. I was not tagged in this video, but decided I was going to insinuate myself into it anyway. Seems like a good time to do it. I don't care if it's 2 weeks early before the end of June. I'm just going to go ahead and do it with everyone else before everyone else gets tired of the tag. So here we go. Best book you've read so far in 2019. And for that, I have a dual. I could not choose between two books. So I chose The Known World by Edward P. Jones and The Vagrants by Yi-Yun Lee. I've talked about these books before in other videos, but The Known World is one of the best books I've ever read, and so was The Vagrants. They were both complicated, political, personal, historical, and crushing. So those are my picks for the best books of 2019 so far, parentheses. The second question is best sequel you've read so far in 2019, and for that I'm choosing When Will There Be Good News by Kate Atkinson. It's the number 3 in the Jackson Brodie series of mysteries I've talked about before. It's my favorite of all 5 books, and that includes Big Sky. New release you haven't read yet but want to, and for that I chose The River by Peter Heller. I've read all of Peter Heller's other novels, which were The Dog Stars, The Painter, and Celine, and then the fourth, and it's gotten very good reviews, is The River. It's supposed to be very action-oriented, and he is really good at building very tense and terrifying scenes, as well as very likable characters, so I'm looking forward to that one. Most anticipated release for the second half of 2019, and for that I chose The Dutch House by Ann Patchett. I know nothing about it other than I like the cover and I like the title. Biggest disappointment so far in 2019. For that, I chose Where the Crawdads Sing by Delia Owens. I didn't like this book very much. It just didn't work for me. I have nothing against anyone who loved it. Please don't hold it against me that I didn't like it, but it just, I hated the plot. I thought the plot, especially the end, was just not earned. And so while I did like some of the nature writing, I didn't like this book. Biggest surprise, I choose Severence by Ling Ma. You've heard other people talk about this, so I'm not going to talk about it now, but if you at all like post-apocalyptic or disease worlds where you have to figure out how to cope and what to do next, this was a good entry into that genre. Favorite new author? Please don't hate me. Please don't give me a thumbs down. Please just let me like who I like, Sally Rooney. I really did like so much Normal People. I know it's completely divisive and it's cleaving us apart from each other, but I don't hold it against you if you didn't like it, so please just let me like what I like. That sounded so pathetic. I don't mean it that way, but I really liked Normal People and I really cared for the characters. And, you know, we all can't like the same things, right? Okay, this is the dumbest question. Newest fictional crush. I have no crushes on anyone I read about in 2019, so for now I'm just sticking with Mr. Darcy. Newest favorite character, and for that I chose Nick Arvin's Mad Boy, and the character's name is Henry Phipps. He's I want to say 12-year-old boy who is grappling with so many things in the midst of the War of 1812, and he is vengeful and confused and sarcastic and smart and wily, and he sees that he is in charge of his own destiny and he goes forward no matter what happens. And he also is tender, so he's a great character. This is a good book. Somebody please read it. Number 10, book that made you cry, saddest book so far, and that is The Known World by Edward P. Jones. I was sobbing at one point in this book. Number 11 is a book that made you happy, and I chose 9 Coaches Waiting by Mary Stewart. Favorite book to film adaptation you saw this year, and that was a book, the movie was released last year, at the end of last year, but I saw it in 2019, and it's Can You Ever Forgive Me, starring Melissa McCarthy and Edward E. Grant. This is based on a memoir, and I don't remember the author's name. I think her name was Lee something. Her name was Lee, and she was kind of down and out, running out of money, not feeling good, feeling ill, and so she starts literary forgeries to make some extra money on the side, and she reins in this guy who's also really down on his luck, and they perpetrate fraud for a while in New York City, and it really captures the essence of the time and place. It looks like it was filmed, I think in the, I want to say the 80s. I'm sorry I don't know more about the details of this, but if you see this streaming somewhere, give it a try. Favorite review you've written so far this year, and that would be my review that I wrote about Trust Exercise by Susan Choi. This is another kind of Marmite book that a lot of people either didn't like or didn't finish, but I really did like most of it. It had some flaws that didn't completely work for me, but I really did like the book, and I saw Steve Donahue do a video about how to write a proper book review, and so I just kind of systematically used his hints and tried to write a good book review. And so to me, that was the best piece of writing I have done so far this year. Most beautiful book you've bought this year so far, and this is a book that was a birthday present from my mom. Hi, Mom. And it was Sally Mann. It's a book, Sally Mann, 1,000 Crossings. Sally Mann is a photographer, and I'm just like in love with her aesthetic and her thoughts. And I had previously read a really fantastic book by her called Hold Still, which was kind of a memoir of what it's like to be a photographer. And this is more of a collection through her entire photographic career that shows some beautiful photographs. And it's so big that I can't even lift it up. So I'm just going to put a picture of the cover here. But this is a book that I have on my coffee table and I have spent time with, and it's just gorgeous. What books do you need to read by the end of the year? And I feel obligated to read the books I requested and was approved for from NetGalley, and they are The Vexations by Caitlin Horrocks. I've read some of her short stories that were collected in like best of anthologies, and I really liked her writing style, so I want to read her novel. The Topeka School by Ben Lerner. Ben Lerner is one of those divisive authors that people really don't like, or some people do like him. So, but I've liked his novels, and I'm interested to see where this novel goes. And the memoir How We Fight for Our Lives by Saeed Jones. So those are books that I have agreed to get advance copies, and so I will for sure be reading those. And I will also be reading the books that come up for book clubs, and those are still unknown to me. I have read more this year so far than I've read in previous years, and I am attributing that all to BookTube and to book clubs, and also just really being invested in reading more books. So that's all I have for now. I don't know who's been tagged for this. If you haven't been tagged, you should do it, and you should do it soon. And I will talk to you soon, and thank you for watching the video.